Hi, how you doing? I'm Max Armstrong. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about memes. Memes are a variety of images or videos designed for the most part just to make people laugh. They vary in style and generally have really no set boundaries on how they're going to be created or what's even going to be the topic of it. The reason for memes, however, also vary. For the most part, it's really just to make people laugh. It's you put it out there, you create something, you send it out, you hope it goes viral. Sometimes you don't want it to go viral. A lot of the time memes are just made for small groups of individuals and you're just sending it out to your friends and that's the end of it. But regardless, it's all with that mindset to make somebody laugh. Oftentimes though, now that memes have evolved, you see messages being spread through memes. Somebody might say like something that they believe in the meme that they make. Sometimes it's still funny, sometimes it's not funny. That also depends on you because memes are also specific to the person. Not everybody's going to find the same memes funny. Now there's some memes that are universally funny and a lot of the memes use the same platforms. When memes first started, they started in the early 2010s, late 2009s. They started on websites like 4chan and Reddit, which some of you may have heard of, some of you may have not. I never used them, but they were where memes were made of. And the beginning of memes were these things called rage comics. And a lot of you probably remember rage comics. Rage comics were those little black and white comics where they had the crazy faces and they were just kind of crappily drawn out people, figurines. But I'll show you what those look like right now. So these are just a variety of rage comics. This isn't an actual comic itself. This just shows all the faces that you might see in a rage comic. And these were the early memes. These are how memes started, and all these different faces represented different feelings. So this was the troll face, that if you were doing something you knew you shouldn't be, you were getting the once over on somebody, you would use the troll face. This is the one where like if you really enjoy something, it was weird. This one was kind of weird to me when I was a kid. This one's obvious. If you're upset, you get you say that. If you're happy, you send that. People make comics and stuff, and this is how they started back in the day. But of course, they have always evolved. And memes are made just by random people. One day, some random person just sat on their computer and created all of those rage comics. It was just a random person. They made them. People started to use them. They found them funny. They made apps to be able to make it easily and copy and paste them, and made rage comic making apps. And it was a big thing. And you could always watch. You could see stuff on like iFunny. People probably remember that. But the whole point of it being is that it was just people making memes to make memes. And then they sort of evolved in a sense besides these ones. Like you might remember Bad Luck Brian, who was like that guy, and he had the school picture, and I'll actually show you that one in a bit too. But they weren't always the rage comics. But as memes evolved, they always represent our culture and what's happening at the time. Nobody uses rage comics anymore because they're outdated. They're not funny anymore. And you can always see a meme and know that if it's outdated. Like the meme that I'm about to show you, Bad Luck Brian. You take one look at this, and you know that this is from the early 2010s. Nobody's making memes about this. Nobody's making jokes about this. But at one point, it was the most popular meme to be used, and it was used for everything. Say, like, this isn't a good example, but you would have at the top, studied for the test, still failed. That's not funny, but that was the layout of Bad Luck Brian. It was when you tried hard on something, or something that should never happened, it was going to happen to Bad Luck Brian. But you will never see those memes nowadays because memes are very dated. A lot of the time memes come up, they're funny for a little bit, and they're gone. And that's kind of just how memes work. That's the nature of memes, and it kind of always makes it weird, but it also makes memes as good as that they are because you don't know when it's going to slip out and it's not going to be funny anymore. Back on track though, memes have always been used from just random people, but eventually it started to be used popularity with companies, and mainstream companies started using them because it was a way to advertise. With the decreased popularity of TV, newspapers, and watching just general TV, that you don't get as much advertisements, it's kind of harder. So on internet, social media, a lot of the time you have companies making memes and stuff, sending them out, trying to relate to the younger community that does share this stuff all the time, and a lot of the stuff that they get is through that. And memes, like I said earlier, can be outdated and they come from our culture. Now, a lot of people nowadays, you see memes of SpongeBob. And this makes sense because a lot of people our age, when memes are coming up, watched SpongeBob as a kid, and SpongeBob was really funny, and he has a lot of stuff in the episodes that are used for memes, like this one that I'm about to show you that literally everybody knows always. This guy. You send this meme and you type it when you're trying to mock somebody. You do the uppercase letters, the lowercase letters, and basically what you're trying to do is you're mocking the person or whatever they say, yada yada yada, it doesn't matter, but this meme is from SpongeBob. And it's cool because there's a lot of memes from SpongeBob, and that's kind of how they show it's a representation of the culture. You had a lot of kids always laughed at SpongeBob, so now they use these same faces that they laughed at as a kid and apply it to now. The funny thing about this guy though is this has nothing to do with what the meme ended up being. This was like a 2-second thing in the episode where he's acting like a bird and then it's done. There's no joke in it really. Like this is the joke in that episode of SpongeBob, but it's turned into something so much more. It's turned into this thing where it's still used today, and this is more of a modern meme. This one is from the late 2020s. I mean, sorry, not late 2020s, the late 2010s, and it's still used to this day. It's still funny, and honestly, SpongeBob's always going to be funny. But that's the cool thing about memes, because they have changed so much since they started. You had those weird rage comics all the way now. You have stuff that involved very stuff all around you, and that's how memes go. There's no holds bars with memes. They can use anything they want or not use anything. There's memes made with Luigi from Super Mario Bros. There's memes made with Lord Farquaad from Shrek. There's memes made with Shrek. There's memes made with like rappers and stuff. There's just, no matter what you do, there's memes everywhere made with something from your culture, and it's a representation of culture. And that's the really cool thing about memes, is because as time goes on, we'll always be able to look at memes and know kind of what was going on around us. I'm sure that everybody in this class has seen a lot of pandemic memes, because there's been so many. If I tried to show you some, it would be overwhelming, because memes are a way that people can sit there and relate. They can say all the things that they're upset about, send it out on social media. People laugh at it because it's a funny way, because that's a big way that humans have always overcome stuff, is through humor. So with these cultures and how you can have literally, you can show what's happening in a culture through the memes that they have, I think that that's the really curious and really cool thing about memes. But they can also be dated because of that. Now, with memes in modern culture, the thing that gets a little weird is because now that they are so popular, because now so many people have internet, because before, at a time when memes first started, it was on those weird sites that were happening, and like not everyone always knew about the memes. Now memes blow up. You get a meme. Now the meme that I just showed you, the SpongeBob meme, this was big on Twitter to all people my age. Probably, I'm 22 years old, so all the people of my age probably saw this, laughed at it on Twitter, probably like saw them, retweeted them, favorited them, and then a little bit later you got it on Facebook, and it's just not funny anymore, because that's the thing with memes happens. There's like a tier of when memes are funny to when they're once they reach Facebook and your mom and your aunts and uncles and whoever is sharing them, the meme's no longer funny. When the second it gets to Facebook, the meme's dead. And that's kind of the culture of the memes themselves. But the whole point is that memes are a really interesting thing, and they show a lot about what is happening in our world, in our society, and they're a good way for people to connect to each other, because you can show somebody, there's people who I've never even been friends with, and we've laughed at the same memes, and that's how our friendship has started. But because we knew one picture that we both thought was funny, we are now friends because of it. It's just a curious thing when you look at memes. Regardless though, memes are just meant to be enjoyed. They're not meant to go too crazy. They're here for us to just enjoy them, to laugh at them, and then to move forward. They don't need to be like analyzed all that much, and when they get made, when people start to make a big deal, that's kind of when it's weird, and that's kind of the downside of the mainstream media with it, and the mainstream advertisement, like the big businesses advertising with memes, because it kind of takes away the fun of memes kind of instantly. The second you see one of them, you're like, like it's whatever. Sometimes they'll get it right, but most of the time it's like, it's whatever. But one thing to think about memes is how long are they going to be around, because they kind of happen with technology, and are they going to be around forever because of that? You know? I think that as long as there is technology, there will be memes, because you can relate memes to newspaper cartoons back in the day. Like, this is just a way that people do it now. Instead of doing it reading the newspaper, reading the Garfield, and going talking to your friends about what happened in Garfield that day, You just have memes, and if you think a meme's funny, you text it to your friend and like, oh, look at that. You see that meme I sent you earlier? They kind of, it's with how humans take them and put them and interact with other humans with them. Memes kind of closely relates to funny commercials back in the day and funny newspaper comics and just funny pictures that you found. Like, it's like it's a new means to get that form of entertainment that humans have always kind of had different means for. And because of that, that's why you have these companies jumping on that to do it, because they see how well you really can advertise if you get it right. But memes are going to be around forever, I believe, because the technology is here. The technology is not going everywhere, and they might evolve. They might not be the same things that they always are, but they're always going to be around. And now that they're here, they're in existence, and they're never going to be taken away from. Memes are always going to be remembered, and I really truly feel like that they're always going to be created because of the technology that they have. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing that we can do, and it's that to just enjoy them and just to laugh at them, because that's what they're meant for. Thank you very much.